Hey VC, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jack. Welcome back to Vinyl Martini, the show that keeps on shaking it up. That's martinis. Of course, if you're having a martini, make sure you shake them. Don't stir them. James Bond liked the shaken martinis, or did he like the stirred ones? I think he was a shaker, but anyways, that's not important. I am back. A couple of videos ago, I said I would show you the records I got in Kingston, Ontario. When I was visiting my son and helping him renovate his house. I just got a note from him on Monday, and they have moved in. They're so happy with the space. So I'm very, very happy for them. Before I dive into the records, though, I want to do a shout out. I haven't done a shout out in a long time, but this is a new channel to me. Really great channel. The channel is called Bobby Gaylor. He has got about 160 subscribers. He deserves a lot more. He's got a great channel. I just watched one this morning. He does a lot of comments, a lot of supporting other channels. He's always got something nice to say, and he knows a lot about music, that's for sure. And he did a great show this morning. So why don't you check him out? I'll leave a link in the description where links go, as you know. Anyways, in a little break in between renovations, I managed to walk downtown to a couple of record stores in Kingston, Ontario. Kingston is about halfway in between Toronto and Montreal, by the way. And I went to a new store that I hadn't been to before. It's called Something Else Records, and I managed to pick up a few buttes, as always. I went through their new arrivals and picked out some records that I thought were worthy of the cause. And this is a record that I don't see very often. This is Dave Mason and Cass Elliot. There's Cass on the back there. From I should know this, probably about 1970, I would say. I know Mike from MGK is a big Dave Mason fan. And this is a really good record. I've seen it a few times before, but it's always beat to shit. It's on Blue Thumb Records. It is a gatefold, again, same pictures in the gatefold. And Dave Mason actually takes the lead on most of the vocals. Cass does a couple of songs on the second side. She has great background vocals to Dave's vocals. He's a great singer. Of course, Dave Mason, formerly of Traffic, he's had a long solo career. And all his records up to about 1978 or 79 are worth collecting. And then into the 80s, he's kind of, not so great. But this is a fantastic record, mostly acoustic based with a nice acoustic band behind them. This was $5 and in great shape. It's a deleted copy. It's got a punched out hole, but really happy to find that. That's a really nice find. Next up, I'm a big Stephen Stills fan. This is his 1984 release, Stephen Stills. It's called Right By You. Shot of him on a racing boat. And a little bit 80s production. The first side, it's okay. The second side is a lot better, but nice to have another album. I collect Stephen Stills and his stuff with Manassas, etc. And he's a great artist all by himself. So Stephen Stills, Right By You. Next up, I got a soul compilation, and it's a German pressing, and it's called That's Soul 3. It's got Solomon Burke, Arthur Conley, Don Covey, King Curtis, Aretha Franklin, the Bar-Kays, Benny King, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Joe Tex, The Sweet Inspirations, and Percy Sledge. So knockout lineup there. I would read, it's got some information on the artists, except that it's in German, so I don't read German. But nice German pressing. It's got a little write-up booklet in there that's complete with the record. And one of the reasons I bought it is because it is on Atlantic Atco. But this is my first Plum label on Atlantic. So that was really nice to find. Plays beautifully. Great soul songs. Great selection of music on there. So that was really fine to find that. That was a $10 purchase. So getting up there in the price range for me. Bob Welch Bob Welch used to be in Fleetwood Mac. He was the one of the main songwriters and singers for Fleetwood Mac before Buckingham Nicks entered the picture. And this is a 1981 release. I don't think I've ever seen this in this mint condition. It was $5. And good power pop record. Got a great voice, by the way. He's a great singer. And really nice to find that. Some Canadiana coming up. This is Sylvia Tyson's first solo album. If you don't know, if you don't recognize the name, she is the Sylvia in Ian and Sylvia. It was produced by Ian Tyson, by the way. This is her first solo record. She has got such a tremendous voice. Nice little die cut cover. Country, a little folky, but what a fine voice. She wrote all the songs, I think, so that was her first effort. And this is from I'm gonna say 1973 or 1974. Recorded in Toronto. Sylvia Tyson, nice find. Then I went to the back of the store and they had a number of $2 bins. So of course I had to go through them all and see what they had to offer. So I got another Valdy record. Valdy is a singer-songwriter from Vancouver, but lives on Salt Spring Island, which is just off the tip of the Saanich Peninsula, about a 20-minute ferry ride from us here. But I've picked up a number of Valdy records in the last year for $1 a piece, mint. And he's a really good songwriter. He usually has a really good band behind him. This is a little more country-ish, a little more folkish, so I wasn't really knocked out by it, but it was produced by Claire Lawrence from Chilliwack and the Collector's fame. So another addition to my Valdy collection, and it's called The Hometown Band. Next up, Love Unlimited, Barry White's backing group. Love's Theme kicks it off, which is a Barry White instrumental. And some great soul and disco songs on here. Barry White's production is impeccable. Always happy to find anything associated with Barry White albums. And of course, Love Unlimited albums fall into that category as well. So really nice to find this. And it was $2. Can't go wrong. I have seen this record in the bins many times. And I know that JT from JT's Record Room is a big fan of Johnny Rivers. This is an album called Realization. I think it's from about 1968. It's supposed to be his psych album. I don't really call it that. I mean, Hey Joe's on here. This other Whiter Shade of Pale. Lots of different cover songs. A couple of Johnny Rivers pen songs as well. But he is such a great singer. This is a great record, and the cover has got a little bit of writing on it, but the record is mint. Sounds great. So this is my first Johnny Rivers record. I'm still looking for that Live at the Whiskey album. I'm trying to find that in good condition, but great find. Johnny Rivers, Realization. $2. Big fan of Jesse Coulter. So is Mike MGK Boston. I know he is, and this is just called Jesse. Great record. She's a great songwriter on her own, and she's a great singer. Of course, she was married to Waylon Jennings for 35 years until up to the time he died. Beautiful woman. Yeah, look at the cover shot of that. Lovely. Great voice. Some more country music, but really happy to find this. I've got about 3 or 4 of her solo records. They're so good. Next up, another $2 find, and this is Tim Hardin. I'm a big Tim Hardin fan. This is a 1968 recording, I think, and it's called Sweet for Suzanne Moore and Damien. We are one all in one. Fantastic record. The first side is a little bit crackly. The second side is really minty, sounds great. And the second side is the best side. He's playing with the band for a couple of songs. Does some poetry, does some folk songs. Tim Hardin had a tragic end. He died alone in a hotel room. He was addicted to heroin or whatever. Substance abuse problems plagued him all his life, but a great artist. Great songwriter. He wrote If I Was a Carpenter, and another song that everybody knows that is escaping my mind right now. It'll come to me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't worry. I've talked before about this guy, Tom Rush. Tom Rush from New Hampshire, folk singer, singer-songwriter. Got a start in the Boston club scene in Cambridge. This is called Tom Rush Blues, Songs, Ballads, and it's on Prestige. I think it's either his first or his second record. The record is in pretty good shape, but the cover is in pretty good shape. The record itself is mint, plays great. And these are all covers, like all folk singers. They used to just sing old folk songs, traditional songs. And this is no different. I think this was recorded in about 1963 or 1964. So always great to find Tom Rush records, especially one that's in this condition for $2. So Tom Rush, Blues, Songs, Ballads on Prestige. And last but not least, I did go through their regularly priced bins, and the records in the store in the regular bins are really beautifully curated, but they're priced at $30, $35, $45, and I found lots of stuff I'd like to buy, but I know that I can do better than that, so I left most of it behind. But I did pick up this record by the Waterboys. I think this is their first EP, and it is just called the Waterboys, I believe, and it's on Island Records. There are 5 songs on this. I got the following album. I picked it up as part of a collection, really cheap, and it blew me away. And I forget the title of it, but it is a brilliant record. So I am after Waterboy stuff all the time. I think it's really easy to find Waterboy records in the UK, for example. Harder to find them here in Canada, so really happy to find this. And this is a banger. It's a really, really well-produced record, well-written songs. I love these guys. Post-punk, I guess. I think they sort of went a little more folky about 3 or 4 records in, but the Waterboys, fantastic. Who is the singer-songwriter produced? Rupert Hine, sorry. Mike Scott is the vocalist and the songwriter. Fantastic guy. Great record. So happy to have that. Then I went to Zap Records. I've been to Zap before, and I've shown records from Zap Records. It's a smaller store, but again, well-curated store, and they had some $5 bins on the outside of the store before you went in. And so I cruised through there and found a number of records that I thought worthy of being picked up. This is the Charlie Daniels Band, Full Moon, 1980. I gave this a listen today. A little bit of a change. The early Marshall Tucker records are really, really good. Not Marshall Tucker. I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is Charlie Daniels, because I'm a big Marshall Tucker fan as well. A little, I don't know, overproduced or something. I mean, there's still some good songs on here, but I wouldn't say it's one of their best efforts. I think they kind of, their 70s records are fantastic. Charlie Daniels Band, Full Moon. It was $5 and in good shape. Another Charlie Daniels Band called High Lonesome. This is a fine record. This is from 1976, so it's a better example of a Charlie Daniels record, but guess what? I already have a copy, and I did not check my Discogs catalog when I was looking through here, because usually I felt I didn't have this. I didn't recognize the cover, but it turns out I do. But it will find a good home. I will compare this to the copy that I have, so I'll keep the good copy, and I will find a good home for the copy that I'm not going to keep. Always good for a gift. Talking about the Marshall Tucker Band, this is the Marshall Tucker Band, Dedicated. Nice cover on that, beautiful sunset. Typical Marshall Tucker cover. This is, I think, their first record on Warner Brothers. A little jazzier, actually, than their other stuff on Capricorn Records. Capricorn folded, and they got signed to Warner's at around just give me a second, I'll try to find a date on here. Again, they're really, really screwing me up here with this small print. I mean, don't they know that all us old guys, is it really important to find the year? It is right now, though. I got a kind of a bug up my bum here. 1981. So a little jazzier than their earlier stuff. And they, they're a Southern rock band. with jazz elements, but they're really stepping up the jazz elements. But not a bad record. Marshall Tucker Band, Dedicated. Again, that was $10. Well, I've talked about Bobby Bare before, and I'm always looking for Bobby Bare records. Mike from MGK has turned me on to Bobby Bare, and I've turned into a Bobby Bare freak. But I did find a Bobby Bare for $5 in the bins, and this is a great record. It is on CBS. He's played on. He's bumped around from label to label. He's recorded on Mercury. He's recorded on RCA in the early days, Columbia in the later days. But this is a fantastic record. Finger on the Button is great. Yard Full of Rusty Cars is fantastic. Too Many Nights Alone is great. This Guitar Is For Sale. Great interpreter of songs and a great writer of songs. He is a definite outlaw. He is a definite country outlaw. He's got a great voice. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Waylon Jennings. Don't want to put him in that. I don't want to compare him to singing that he sounds exactly like Waylon Jennings, but he's got a similar style, rough-edged style that I really like. So Bobby Bare, just called Bare. And I picked up a Wishbone Ash album. This is a fantastic record. This is, I think, their 4th studio record. 4th or 5th. It's called There's the Rub, released in 1974. Fantastic. Really happy to find this. Found a Wishbone Ash record last week in Seattle. So within 2 or 3 weeks, I found 2 Wishbone Ash records, and I'm still after their first 2. I always see them beat up to shit, and but maybe I'm going to get lucky this weekend, so who knows. There's the Rub, fantastic record by Wishbone Ash. Next up, some more Canadiana. I picked up a Gatto record about 6 months ago, and they were a Toronto band. Greg Godowitz is the leader of the band. He is their bass player, but he also plays guitar and piano. Very talented guy. He used to be the bass player for a band called Flood, which was, again, they released 3 or 4 records. They were a Toronto-based band, and their home bar that they played in all the time was a place called the Nob Hill Hotel in Scarborough, which was a big bar space on the main floor, and upstairs they had hotel rooms. But it was kind of a, one of those places where room would cost you $20 an hour or $15 for the night, nudge, wink, wink. Anyways, cool place, but this is a great record. They're a 3-piece band. They were a bar band. They did tours across the country, and I just forgot how good these guys are. Fantastic songs on here, and especially one that I really loved was they do a song for Carol Pope, and Carol Pope was the lead singer in a band called Rough Trade. And as the name implies, they are a little kind of BSDM band. But the song that I really liked was "Oh Carol, Kiss My Whip," which is a tribute to Carol Pope and Rough Trade. But great record, and the cover is really beat up. It's on Polydor, but the record was in great shape, plays just fine. Every song was great, by the way. Next up is Black Oak, Arkansas. And this is a 1976 release, Southern rock, but more, their first 3 or 4 records were, you could really classify that as Southern rock. I would say this is more the emphasis on rock with some Southern elements, but their singer is, sorry. This is going to bug me, so I have to get his name. And it is, of course, it's not coming to me here. Just hold on, be patient. Sorry, Black. And they don't give any of the band members' names, but the singer was very famous, but so famous that I've forgotten his name. I'm stuck for his name right now. But what I wanted to say was his voice is on this record is so reminiscent of grunge bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. And I don't know if his vocals on this record influenced those guys, but he sounds a lot like the early grunge scene in Seattle. But so fantastic vocals on this. And the name will come to me. His name will come to me at 2 o'clock in the morning, or right after I've shut this video down. So happy to get this next record. It is Bobbie Gentry, Ode to Billy Joe. And this is, I'm going to say it's a 1968 recording or 1967 recording. The remarkable thing about this is that she wrote all the songs on this record, except for one, the last album on side one. But these songs are so great. You'd think it's a country album, but it's more of like a southern pop record, really skillfully produced by a guy called Kelly Gordon. It's on Capitol Records. Usually, I've been looking out for this record for years, and I do see it in bins, but it's usually really, really messed up, and the record looks like somebody used it as a doormat at the front of their house. But this one, it looks like it's never been played. Of course, it was $5. Usually this is about a $20 or $25 record. But there is a split in the cover. But man, the record is in beautiful shape. And this is a fantastic record all the way through. Such a talented singer. Yeah, and that Ode to Billy Joel. I knew I was going to say that. Ode to Billy Joel. No, it's not Ode to Billy Joel, because Billy Joel hadn't even started recording back then, but it's Ode to Billy Joe, which is one of the 60s great singles. Fantastic song. And the rest of the album is just as good as that. Fantastically produced, and what a talent. Bobbie Gentry. So happy to get that. That cost me $10. Well worth the $10. And last but not least, sometimes I treat myself to a newer record, and I couldn't resist buying this. This was $35, but it is one of my favorite bands. It is the Psychedelic Furs, their 2020 release called Made of Rain. I just played this before I started filming this video for the second time. It is fantastic. Every song, it's a double album, 3 songs a side. The first 3 sides are fantastic. Side 4 is good, but not as good as the first 3 sides. Like songs like The Boy That Invented Rock and Roll is great. Wrong Train, that whole side 2. Wrong Train, This Will Never Be Like Love, and Ash Wednesday are just, that's a killer side right there. So I had a Psychedelics for record. I think I got their second record a long time ago when it was released. And I kind of forgot about them because I stopped buying records in the 80s. But Mike, PC31, I think he's shown this on his channel. That's post-punk music right up his alley. Fantastic record. I know Mike Vinyl Spiral is, right, he'd love this stuff as well. Highly recommend Psychedelic Furs. They got such an individual style. They write such good songs, and they've had a really, really long career. They've been together for 42 years or something like that. 40 years, 42 years, I would say. 1982, I think they started. But fantastic find. Well worth the money I paid for it. This is a pre-loved copy, and it is minty, mint. So, anyways, that's all I got for you. So thanks for sticking around. Another long video. I know. I go on and on and on. I get excited. I got to show you everything I got from my travels. And tomorrow I am going to the record fair with my buddy Reg, so looking forward to that. And my wife said, "Don't you think you have bought enough records lately?" I'm going, "Yeah, I probably have, but it's not going to stop me from going to the record fair." I am bringing a very small budget. I am going to try to be very, very precise and very, very, I'm going to be very particular. And that's the plan. I hope I stick to it. But anyways, thanks for watching. Give me a like. If this is the first time you watch my channel, why don't you give me a sub? Anyways, I will have more records to show you next week, and I've got more to talk about next week. So I will see you in my next video. So thanks for watching, and cheers, guys.